Why do Uber drivers talk so much? My name is Levi Spires. This is the Tip You in the App Daily Drive podcast. Today's Daily Drive podcast is brought to you by the Gig U app. I spend a lot of time scrolling through TikTok. And because I'm an Uber driver, I tend to see a lot of Uber driver content on TikTok. And sometimes it's like the passenger makes a TikTok saying, "Oh, look at my Uber driver." And sometimes those TikToks are like the driver doesn't know you're recording them. And it's kind of like that POV shot where the person's maybe not POV, they're holding their phone, they're looking down at their phone and they're like, "My Uber driver won't shut up." I feel I'm really guilty of this. So if you're a passenger, if you've ever been in a Uber, if you're an Uber driver, this podcast episode is for you. I want to address this conversation, this topic of talking. Why does your Uber driver talk so much? Let's put people into two camps. There are Uber drivers that are silent. They're focused on their own thing. Maybe sometimes they don't speak the language. They don't speak English if they're here in America. Or maybe they have an earbud in, they're listening to podcasts, which, by the way, I've done before too in some municipalities, or maybe all, I don't know, but you're not supposed to have earbuds in doing something like that. Maybe they're on the phone with somebody or whatever. So they're in their own little world. Or maybe they're just silent people. That's one group over here. Then you got the other group over here. This is me. We're talkers. We like to be around other humans. And Uber driving is a great way to be around a lot of other humans. Imagine this. If you're not an Uber driver, you have to understand every hour there's 3 new people that you're going to meet. And typically they're in nice settings, cordial settings. There's just 2 people in a car by themselves and they're trying to be friendly to each other. And if you're a talker, if you're a nice person like me, sometimes that friendliness seems like you want to be in an engaging conversation. It's like you crack that door open a little bit and a talker like me push that door open. Let's go. We're going to be best friends for life. And I'm exaggerating, but maybe not. So, but yeah, there's this thing though with drivers. We want to earn a tip. Tips are our bonuses. Now, depending upon when and where you drive and what your style and all this kind of stuff, somewhere between 1 in 10 and 4 in 10, maybe half of our passengers tip. Some drivers make a lot more in tips if they drive Uber Black and they're only driving out of the airport or whatever. They might make a lot more in tips. But for the most part, if you're just taking trips around a city, you're going to get 1 in 4 or 4 in 10, give or take, something like that. Now, we want to earn that tip. And here is a kind of hard truth that I found after 6 years of Uber driving. Nice people tip. Mean jerks don't tip. And one way to make somebody a nice person is to be their friend, which means you talk, you have a conversation and you become friends with each other. It's like a bartender. The bartender, if you have a longer conversation with the bartender, and I kind of understand the principles of it, you become friends, you're going to tip that person more generously than the other. So I think a lot of drivers are lured into the fact or the idea, the concept that they can earn a tip if they become your friend. And that's true because, again, nice people tip and jerks don't tip. And it doesn't really matter how clean your car is, how safe you drive, whatever it is. Basically, there are people that believe in tipping culture and people that don't. And sometimes the people that don't are kind of cold. I'll give you an example. I drove a guy 2 days ago and he walks up to my car and I see him and he kind of glances out of the corner of his eye at me so he could see me. And I always wave. I'm picking this person up at an auto repair shop. In fact, it was a Tesla store. I pick him up at the Tesla store and I wave at him and he glances over at me. He's got his earbuds in. I'm okay. That's normal. And it doesn't even look at me though. It kind of glances at me, but it doesn't acknowledge me. And then he gets in the back seat of my car and he's on the phone, which is completely understandable too. So, okay. And so I kind of turn like this. And I'm like, Brian? He doesn't say anything. And he shuts the door. So I do like this. Hey, Brian? His name wasn't Brian, it was something else, but whatever. And he still doesn't say anything. So I literally turn all the way around and I look at him in the eye and I'm like, are you Brian? He's like, and he doesn't even like say hello. Does it? Yeah, I could tell you 99 out of 100, all he has to do is get in my car and say something like, hey, I'm going to be on the phone. Don't mind, just turn the radio down or whatever. And so we take this 15-minute ride and he's on the phone and he's like talking really loud. You know, people are when they're on like a speakerphone, but they're in their headphones and they're just like, they're in a conference call. He's doing some sort of business. He's just really loud, but I only got like 1/10 of the conversation. So it seems like there's a problem with their parts supplier. I don't remember. And he didn't acknowledge me on the way out of the car. We pull up. I turn around to wave goodbye. He just jumps out of the car. That's what I mean by jerks. Now, again, there are tons of people that are nice that would be like, they would get in my car and be like, I just got to get on the call. No worries. My pleasure. I would love to serve you. And I have to talk to them, but that's what I mean by that. So that's just an example. Nice people talk, nice people tip. That's kind of the mantra. So talker drivers, people like me, if we want, and it's fun, it's engaging, it's so amazing to learn new things. You want to talk to the passenger. This new person's in your car. And if they allow you, if they want to, you want to talk. So there's a difference though between small talk and real talk. I'd say most of the conversations I have in my car, if the passenger wants to talk, is about the same thing. It's like the weather, how long you've been an Uber driver, something like that. Boring stuff. And I do it all day. So imagine half my passengers don't talk, then the other half that do talk, they kind of talk about the same thing over and over again. And, you know, oh, you got a Tesla, tell me about your Tesla or whatever. And I can do it, but I have those conversations like on repeat and loop in my mind. But there is like this different type of talk. And I want to make sure that if you're a passenger, you have to understand this. It's my car. Where you're sitting, my family sits. And it's a personal space and it's an intimate space. And it's like just two people alone. And we're in the city, we're traveling. And I can hear almost every movement you make back there. I can hear, we're very close. I could reach back and touch, and you could touch me. We're in a shared space, my space. And talking allows us as drivers to kind of confirm not only whether you're nice or a jerk or whatever, but also, are we safe? What state are you in? Especially state of inebriation. This has to be more specific. Because if you start to drive later in the night, people get drunk. Talking makes you kind of understand, okay, what is the status of the person behind me? Now, another part about talking is this. We can't do nonverbal conversations. And this is where the problem therein lies. I can't really see you. I might glance a little bit of you in my rearview mirror, bits and pieces, but for the most part, I'm focused on the road. I'm driving. I'm looking this way, or whatever. And I can't see you, but you can see me. That makes the conversations awkward. You can see my nonverbals. You can even see my facial expressions because you can see this side of my face. And if I turn a little bit, you'll see that. I can only understand you through your vocabulary and your tone. I don't know if you're using any kind of nonverbal facial expressions or gestures with your hands to communicate. And that's where the problem comes in. Because if you're a talker, and I'm a talker, I'll own it. I'll own I'm a talker. I got a new person sitting back here. They open the door. They tell me, oh, today's a big day. I'm going into surgery. It's not small talk now. They gave me something I'm curious about. What do you mean surgery? What kind of surgery? I don't dismiss it because you're human and you matter. So the driver, this is where the driver falls apart here. They think they're having a conversation with a passenger, but the passenger is not having a conversation. The driver becomes an inquisitor, an interrogator. And that is not a good place to be because you start asking questions as a driver. What kind of surgery? Ouch. When did you hurt your knee? And the person is a polite person. They're a nice person. So they're answering the question, but they're not having a conversation. They might be on their phone just trying to be polite back to you as the driver. So if you're an older driver, vast majority of the drivers are over the age of 40, right? 35, 40, 50, 60 years old. We have life experiences. We hear somebody wants to go on surgery in this example. Maybe we have our own knee problems or whatever it is. And so now we feel like we're having a conversation. We become this inquisitor, this interrogator, trying to get all of this information. And then we start giving life advice. And all the time, the person's in the back going, where's this conversation coming from? Why won't this person shut up? They don't close the door on the conversation because the driver asks another question. And because I can't see you, I can't see that you're being dismissive. So the driver keeps talking. He's asking more questions. And the passenger in the back's like, oh, let me make a TikTok about this dude that just won't shut up. So the whole thing's crumbling. And so there's two different perceptions of what's happening. The driver thinks, wow, we're having this amazing conversation about knee surgeries or whatever. And the person in the back's going like, I just want to sit in peace and quiet. So that's fascinating to me. It's a slice of life. Just yesterday, I'd say 6 out of my 8 rides, I think I took 8 rides, where person just sat in the back. We didn't say anything. We just sat in peace and quiet. And that's okay. I found it fascinating. It's neat. Humans are great. And especially this world of what's coming, the world that we have today is this fake world of social media. Everything's digital. Even me right here, I'm making content with you, but I'm not really there with you. I might try to communicate in a way that makes it feel that way because I would like to be there with you, but I'm not. This is digital. This is not real conversations. This is one way almost. Well, same thing is true with now we're getting in this world of AI. Now I'm a real human, but soon this world won't even be real. So humans are getting disconnected all over. We're spending more time in our houses. We're ordering DoorDash. We're not spending time out with groups and friends or whatever. And Uber is this one place where two humans can be alone for a brief moment in time and share space and just communicate and connect. They don't have to become best friends or anything like that, but they can talk about something that's meaningful and purposeful. So when it does happen, it's really special. And I think it's amazing, but it doesn't always have to be that way. So now let me give some advice to passengers, and then I'll give some advice to drivers. Passengers, it's important that we establish a little bit of rapport, some sort of like introduction as the Uber drive is about to get going. I want to confirm who you are. I want to confirm that where you're going. And then I want to make sure that you're okay. Like this is not going to be a problem. Like you're not drunk, whatever it might be. Now, if you as a passenger want to get on your phone, if you want to have headphones on, you don't want to talk, whatever it is, or maybe you do want to talk, let the driver know. You got to let the driver know because the driver can't see you. We don't know what you want. I know I want to please. If you want a peace and quiet ride, I want to give that to you. But if you want to talk, you want to talk. That's great. So you have to communicate. You have to tell the driver your expectations. The experience that you want is not the same as everybody else. I could probably say there are 10, 20 different types of Uber passengers, from talkers to being quiet to people that want to do a lot of different things. I don't want to get into that, but if you have an expectation of how this Uber ride is going to go, set it and be polite about it. Don't demand, don't command. We're not chauffeurs. We're just humans driving you around. Say, hey, I need to get on the phone. And if you don't mind, can you take this route? I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. That would be amazing. I think most Uber passengers get in the car and assume that we as drivers think you're the norm and we're trying to treat you the same way. I'm trying to discover what you want. Passengers, communicate. Tell the drivers what your expectations are right along the start of the ride, especially for longer rides. It's a 5-minute ride. But like as the ride gets 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour, it's really important to do that. Now, drivers, this is my advice for you. I try to be, but make statements and don't ask questions. That's a really hard thing to do. A couple of things. When you make a statement, You allow the passenger to decide how they want to answer. When you ask a question, it kind of becomes like you end up turning into that, like, I'm using the word inquisitor. But if you can make a statement, it works out a little bit differently. Instead of going, hey, is your name Bob? Are you going to the mall? Those are questions. Those are yes or no questions. And those are reasonable, by the way, but you can also say, Bob, looks like you're going to the mall. It's subtle, but it's different. Now, that doesn't matter too much in the beginning, but as the conversation gets going, making statements is really, really important. It changes the conversation. So, oh, how are you doing today? Or maybe whatever. And they say, oh, I'm going to go get surgery or whatever. They go, man, surgery. Notice I acknowledged and I didn't try to discover what type of surgery it is. I'm going to allow them, the passenger, to decide the level of information they want to give. And they're going to dictate the terms of the conversation. I make a short statement that's sympathetic, that says, wow, surgery, that's important. And then who knows where they're going to take it from there. They could be like, yeah, it's my knee. You say something like, yeah, I heard knee problems. That's good news, though. Knee surgery is not like heart surgery. See where they're going to go with it. They could say, oh, yeah, I hurt my knee slipping on ice. Or who knows what they're going to say. Then it's good to go. It's quiet. But if you ask questions, now you become the person trying to you're trying to pull information out of them instead of letting them naturally give you information. Doesn't mean you should never ask a question. I think how's your day going is a fine question. I think is your name Bob or whatever. That's fine. But if it also forces you just to think just a little bit. If you're a talker like me, you're trying to discover more information. It's fun to meet new people and it's interesting and we are enamored with this. Oh, wow. Enamored's not the right word. You can see my vocabulary is not too good, but I'm thinking like, wow, that's interesting. Knee surgery. I want to know more. But if I start asking questions, I might start digging into areas that I'm not supposed to be. But if I acknowledge what they said with some sort of empathetic statement, it's now allowing them the opportunity to decide which way the conversation is going to go. So let them control the conversation by you making statements. It's a hard thing to do. It makes me pause a lot of the time when I'm trying to have a conversation. I stop and I think for a second, and that pausing and thinking seems awkward, but it isn't. It's just letting the conversation breathe naturally. What do you do? Are you a talker? Do you want to talk? Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this topic here. Drivers for 2026. Not only do I want you to make as much money as possible, I want you to be safe, healthy, and happy. I want you to enjoy the ride. I know last year I got really burnt out. I really did. Uber became a grind, and sometimes it still is, but I want to get back into the enjoyment of it. So the stories, the human connections, the little challenges I give myself, I remember when Uber was fun, and I want to make it fun for me. And I hope that my content inspires you to also make it fun. So make your money, be safe and healthy, but enjoy the ride. My name is Levi Spires. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.